Today's sponsor of the Vision Quest podcast is 920 Hat Company. Leather patch hats are in, and 920 Hat Company is here to hook you up with your very own custom hat. All patches are lasered on top-grade genuine leather and on popular brand hats like Richardson and FlexFit. Whether you're looking to show off your business or want a one-of-a-kind hat for yourself, 920 Hat Company can do it all. All the hats are handcrafted right in the Fox Valley, but worn across America. With over 500 hats in stock, they guarantee fast turnaround times. Honestly, Liam, looking at these hats, solid, right?
Yeah, they're pretty. I like them.
I like that patch itself.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, one-of-a-kind stuff. I know his name's Trevor. He does great work. He's actually gotten I think we got a knit hat coming.
I think so, yeah.
Yeah, we got that coming. So we're really excited to have these guys on board as a sponsor. So get down to check them out on Facebook. I believe they're on Instagram. Check them out, man. They got the best hats, I think, in the Fox Valley, if not in the state.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. So get down to 920 Hat Company on social media and check them out.
Let's go.
All right, we got this set. Now I got some music playing here. So we're doing another episode here with the man, the myth, the legend. Hey, nice. I'm digging that.
Watching it right now.
Yeah,
watching it right now.
We got Jordan Crass with us here. He has some. Is that Greco going on in the back? Nope, that's freestyle.
No, that's freestyle. Skulls.
Nice.
That's freaking skulls.
Nice.
Yeah.
So we're
about to watch the boys run the gambit right now again. Relive the glory day. The 45 minutes of glory here.
So I'm gonna turn this on. We're gonna talk Fargo. I just cut that off just abruptly. Just bam, we're done.
Yeah.
So talk Fargo. This was my first experience. Now you've had many experiences, obviously, at Fargo. So
yeah, Fargo is like a unicorn, right? Like it's like the coolest thing ever if you get to see eyes on it, and you hear about it for years as a young kid. Fargo, and feel like the rest of the country, it's like this deadbeat little town in the middle of nowhere, and to us, it's like the Mecca, right? Like it's a pedestal. And even as a little kid, I remember as my older brother went out there hearing about it, and my dad coming back and being like, "Oh my God, it's just amazing! It's just amazing!" And and then so like I got to go like my first year as an eighth grader. I was a cadet, and we got to go out there.
Oh, okay.
We were Greco guys. We wrestled Greco, and Greco used to be first. And so Greco All-American as an eighth grader. That was the tattoo bet with my dad.
Yeah.
My dad has been out there a couple times, watched my older brother wrestle, and me and my twin and all of our buddies were like always putting fake tattoos on at tournaments and stuff. And we were like, "Hey, we want to if we make All-American at Fargo, can we get a tattoo?" And my dad told my mom, he's like, "Don't worry, like they'll never do not like they'll never do it, but kind of like we're pretty safe here. They're not gonna." Yeah. And we both did in the same bracket.
That's awesome confidence.
Yeah.
But now being out there as like a first time, like understanding now, I mean, so we go to preseason nationals and Super 32s and that's all folk style stuff, right? But you don't get to see a lot of these guys in action when it comes to freestyle. So we get to see, we get to see skulls, things like that, but then now see them in the mix with those other guys out there, which was mind blowing just watching the matches. Cause it was great matches. I mean, up and down the board, we had five champs, right? And juniors. Yeah. So we have five champs and juniors, and not even just the championship rounds. Watching those guys perform and just dominate all the way through.
Yeah. You gotta put 11 matches together.
Exactly. And that's some guys, we could talk about brackets and stuff like that, but I mean, every guy there that I saw so far was not able to touch the guys that we had. Right. So
pretty well. Yeah.
And so now in years past, like, you're talking about when Greco was first, like, I mean, was the gym empty when Greco started then, and then freestyle packed up? It was all different then.
No, I think with the change of the tournament, you see less guys wrestling Greco. They come, the All-American freestyle, they're a little banged up. They're like, I'm out of it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It'd be like, you go out there for Greco, and a lot of guys kind of used to use Greco, I think, as like their warm-up tournament.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Freestyle. I think I dinged up a little bit in Greco. They'd maybe bow out, so they were healthy for freestyle,
Yeah.
But I didn't see as many kids wrestle one style back then. Most guys just did both.
Yep.
But adversely, I just did Greco. Like, I wasn't just a freestyle. I just wrestled Greco.
Oh, really?
And that was like my favorite. And because my club coach was Scott Arneson, and he's a big Greco guy.
Yeah. Yep.
Greco, and kind of just instilled that love and that passion in me. And
nice. Yeah.
So I coach on a cadet dual team with him, and that's like it's like a renaissance thing, to kind of be with him as staff and get to coach with him. But yeah, so we've been through it together. He was my cadet coach out there at Fargo, and then, being out there with the boys now and going through that, and the cadets are a lot different than the juniors. A lot of them, it is their first time at a big tournament like that, or you know what I mean? Away. Mom and dad were pretty strict through WWF on the, you're not staying with your mom and dad, you're staying with the team, you're staying with your buddies, and you're learning how to do your laundry, manage your time. Because like the more we do for these kids at this age, the more of a disservice we're doing to your parents, right? Like we're trying to prepare them for college and get them ready to like handle all this on their own, So we don't want them to be we want the parents to show up like spectators. Obviously we want you there to love and support your child and your athlete, but that we'll take care of them on the floor, and we'll take care of them at the hotel, and so it's pretty cool, but the cadets take a little more than the juniors, by the time
they're new,
if we do it, that's by the time they're juniors, they're like these guys, right? I mean, they're super. Obviously, these guys train at AWA, and it's a freaking phenomenal club, and those guys are cranking out hammers left and right, and they're doing an excellent job. But these guys also are just very high character people, and that's a testament to their parents and raised. I mean, we as wrestling coaches, we get to make an impact on these guys,
Yeah.
But like I always say, like, dude, we're just kind of warm. Well, I actually got this from my brother, but he says, I'm just warming up the soup. Like you two made the kid. Like this is your child. Like, I'm just trying to. Soup. You guys made the soup.
Yep.
Like let's try to heat it up and get it nice and hot.
Yep.
And see what we can do with it.
Serve it.
But at a certain point, I'm kind of limited. Depending on what you bring me. You bring me a high character kid that's a hard worker and got a good attitude and gives us good effort.
Yeah.
You get great results.
Well, and you guys work well. I've noticed a lot that you guys kind of, because the Askrens so well, you guys work well together as far as even the guys from the room. They know the AWA guys, and they all work out together. So it's good to see. And I've mentioned this on other shows. It's really nice to see finally a gel. We're the same state, right? We're all trying to accomplish the same thing, and not every place is like that. We got some of the old school guys that aren't like that, but it only is working.
I think a big part of it is for us. We get out there.
Yeah.
And it's like we're high-fiving and hugging each other, because it's like, dude, when we were kids, we were out here high-fiving and hugging each other, wrestling together, winning matches, winning, stop signs for Team Wisconsin, and just having fun as athletes. And that's just transcended to having fun as coaches, right? And there's no animosity. Like, we're just trying to make sure that these kids get great opportunities. And it's not about Crass versus AWA or AWA versus Nazar. It's about Wisconsin kids getting opportunities to wrestle after high school should they want to.
That's right. But aside from Fargo, I've noticed with you guys, but as far as like, I guess, collaborations and things like that, I mean, it's the kids. The kids are putting it together and reaching out to each other. And because
social media, they don't know how to get to each other.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
It's good to see.
And they do. They're looking for good partners. And then, they support each other, they're just DM, each other's stories out like, yo, he's a dog. I love this dude. Like, they're not even guys from the same club, but after the experience together, they really start to bond, even just through being, being cheesy, baby, being in the state.
So let's enough about those other guys. Let's talk about some of your guys that went through Fargo. What was, what were some of the results you had?
Well, we had, we did well, we had some 4 All-Americans in Greco.
Nice.
Dale Corbin's an athlete that came to us about a year ago. His father's a military man. He's stationed in Fort McCoy.
Okay.
I believe it's like Sparta, Toma area. So he trains at our club, and he trains with Corey Scanlon's club down there at Lacrosse.
Nice.
Lacrosse Wrestlers is a fantastic club also.
Yep.
About an half south of here. And so we both kind of co-train him, and he's a complete hammer. And, he was at blood rounds of that freestyle tournament too. We've only had him for like a year, but I mean, he's just an easy kid to train. You can get 100% out of him, but he was injured. He had a bad lower back muscle.
Oh, really?
And we ended up, and that's why we ended up forfeiting. But that happened in the freestyle tournament. You talk about a tough kid and being tough and toughing it through, and the dude makes it all the way through to the blood round, and then he takes a day off in between and makes his weight and does everything right to get his weight back down, then weighs in and wrestles Greco to an All-American finish, and we ended up defaulting that 7th and 8th place match just because he was pretty injured. And the
All-American, man.
What a stud. Yeah. And actually we're losing him now. He's heading out to Wyoming Seminary out in Pennsylvania to start his career.
Okay.
But he's got 2 little they're moving it that just moved in. And they're all signed up and ready to rock and roll, and
nice.
And they're little hammers. A lot of fun. They fit in our our 10-12 age group pretty good. So they'll be good additions for a couple of years.
Right on.
And then, from cadets, trying to think about the cadets, Caleb Denny.
Yep.
Freestyler from Marshfield.
Yeah.
Third place, man. And dude, the only match he lost was that kid from Ohio. And I tell you what, Caleb is as good as it gets in that seatbelt position.
Yeah.
That over under grounded on a knee. And actually he would maybe a year ago he would have preferred the wizard position to having the seatbelt.
Okay.
But we found a way to get in the seatbelt and win that position. And actually made some great adjustments from the first time he wrestled the Ohio kid to the second time. So lost one match in the whole tournament, won 11.
Yep.
And then got the Avenge that only lost for third. So that's being a savage. That's pretty tough.
Caleb's pretty cool. Yeah, I briefly was able to talk to his mom at the tournament, but even wrestling with him and having him on the team with Schoolboy, I mean, he's getting better. Like it's not like he's here. Climbing. Yes, it's always an ascend. So it's nice to see him doing that well. He's dedicated and focused. So I mean, it's fun to watch. So now
another kid, he's quiet, he's calm, he's cool, he's collected. When he does throw something in there, it's usually pretty funny.
Yeah,
he picks his spots, but he's a cool kid. Yeah, he works his butt off.
Yep.
He trains also with Valley Elite out of Marshfield. Brad Dolzel.
Oh,
Brad was a freaking. Yeah, and then Cody C's really good high school coach over there in Cody C. And Marshfield's got a great tradition, great program.
Yeah.
So that's he's got good backing there in his hometown too.
Yeah. So what are some of the experiences that you got to witness with some of your guys at Fargo? Like what were some of the big moments that you had? Because I mean, I know you
Cooper winning an All-American was big.
Okay.
Wrestle both styles, wrestle deep into freestyle.
Yep.
And then kind of gets bounced out of the tournament. He beat a tough kid, an Ironman placer, and the coaches from Tennessee Chattanooga were kind of recruiting them right there, watching them, and they got done. And I went to college with them guys, and they looked at me, and Cooper teched them pretty quick. Really controlled the match. Wasn't like he caught a low ankle crossbody and laced him up. He just teched him.
Yep.
And he said, man, who's that kid? And I was like, that's Easton Cooper. And he's like, oh, yeah. He's like, let me get his number. But I was like, that's how Fargo goes. And
nice.
You know what I mean? Like, you're wrestling every round that you could be recruited from winning that round. You know what I mean?
Yeah, right. Exactly. Do you take, like, when you're, what's that?
Let's get through to all of my guys first that place.
Yeah.
I want to talk about it quick so I don't miss anybody out while we're rolling.
Nope.
Brayton Casey's a guy that doesn't come very much, but he's a private lesson guy because he's Greco specific when he does come over.
Yeah. Yep.
So you want to talk about a tough SOB. We thought this dude pulled his hamstring.
Yeah.
He gets back, he gets to an MRI and into an X-ray, and they find out that he's starting to pull the bone apart.
Oh.
So muscle attaches to the bone, his hamstring up under his butt muscle. He's pulling the bone right apart. So,
oh my God.
He's another kid that got deep into the tournament in Greco, and he's a Greco specific guy, but then he had to bail.
Yeah. Yep. Oh,
because of that. And then Kale Roth from Stevens Point.
Yeah.
This kid, he is just getting started, bro. Like, I mean, his wrestling potential and his wrestling potential's always been there. I feel like his wrestling IQ is just skyrocketed in the last year and a half. He knows where he's good, he knows where he's not, and he's very disciplined.
Yep.
The other thing is, guys like a CrossFit superstar. Like, he's up at 5:30 every morning, box jumping,
really,
plate clean. He's a savage.
Oh,
dude.
shit.
Yeah. Oh,
Jesus.
He hangs tight with them Shirl boys, and them Shirl boys are savages.
Oh yeah.
They're that's their. I mean, they're just workers, man. They love to work out, and you look at them. They walk in, they all got the same build. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, just yoked, right? Yeah. It's like if you can design a Greco-Roman wrestler, that's like what I'm looking for, right? Like
just wide out,
square head, low center of gravity, wide as shit through the midsections. You can barely gut him. He's got lats so big you can barely lot, and he's just shredded. But yeah, so he had a great Greco tournament, and he's a Greco specific guy as well. Came out, and it's kind of funny because I train a lot of Greco specific guys, and honestly, Easton Cooper is a pretty. I mean, he really loves Greco, and he's I think if he comes out there and just wrestles Greco, he places a lot higher because he's not beat up from 3 days of freestyle beforehand and another weight cut.
Right.
But the kid loves wrestling.
Yeah.
Like, you couldn't tell super not to wrestle.
He's always flying, man. That kid is.
That college coaches look at. It ain't always about like, hey, but listen, they don't want you to be the best that you're going to be in high school.
Right.
I mean, yeah, they're towards the top. They're looking for the guys that aren't afraid to throw their hat in the ring.
Yep.
The guys that want to scrap. You know what I mean? Day in and day out. And you start to get the results you want when you're willing to scrap a lot.
It seems to show. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
for sure.
Dawson from Cumberland was real close.
Mm-hmm.
He got deep into the tournament. We got hit with a dirty inside trip. I had a nightmare about it. But yeah, his little brother got experience out there. So that was good. Will Schmitt was out there wrestling, another younger guy from our club, but had a bad foot. He's having surgery on it. He kind of went out there knowing he was going to be in a tough spot. But yeah, I mean, I'm proud of everybody that went out there. Tristan Dreyer went out there. He's a player, wrestled some Greco, scrapped hard, won some, lost some. But, if you can go out there and put a couple matches together, it's a pretty respectable performance, I think.
For sure. Yeah. Well, I mean, just again, like talking about the level of competition, man, I mean, coming through the backside, we look pretty good, but you're still going to be hitting those guys on the backside that are still tough. You
get to watch Owen Griesbach wrestle at all?
I did not. No, I did not.
He's cadet like I think he was 182.
Okay.
But he's a freaking hammer. He was in the blood. Like, I think he lost in the blood round.
Yep.
I mean, he's, and I tell the boys, I'm like, hey man, Mirror Soul Twins didn't play the first time they were here.
Right. That's the, oh my God.
You're fine. Like, you can be fine. Like, it's not over.
Right.
You're a cadet.
It's okay.
And that's, get nervous, or I think I don't get nervous, but I get nervous about their expectations. Like, I'm like, dude, you're right on the right path. Like, just keep grinding.
Yeah, exactly. So that was kind of like the view that I saw. Even like, I saw a couple Will Schmitt's matches, things like that. But like I said in the video I did, we're climbing. Like, Wisconsin's not dropping. We're climbing now, and it's only getting better. And watching your guys and watching a couple of the other matches, I got so lost in just watching all matches. Like, I couldn't pick out who I was doing.
Well, if you're a fan out there too, it's like,
oh man,
I'm watching the Rainey kid from Kentucky wrestle the kid from New Jersey, and I'm just like, sucked in. Crap, I got a kid on 8. I got to run over there.
Yeah. So
pretty chaotic.
Were you guys able to at least stick to and I don't mean to sound like you guys are playing favoritism, but stick to your athletes?
Yeah, we have so many guys on our staff that are like designated to like clubs.
Sure.
You know what I mean?
Yep.
Almost every, like one of Ben's club managers has a spot on the staff, right?
Yeah.
Because they have several we attend to. And then we have all kinds of guys on the staff that are like D2 or D3 coaches, or, you know what I mean, high school coaches, or guys that are the Freedom Club coach, Cody Wolrath, came out, volunteers time to be out there and coach. Nice. And it's like these guys that love wrestling that want to help. And so we sit down at night, draft, and we just kind of go through the weights, and we pack all like 26 of us coaches into one little hotel room, and we go down the roster, and everyone's just like, yeah, he trains at my club, or no, he doesn't, or okay, what neck of the woods is he from?
Yeah, right.
Maybe you coached at cadet duels, maybe you coached him at junior duels, maybe you saw him at a camp, maybe you came down to visit college, and you want to help. You just all kinds of different ways, and just it's really about making sure the athlete's comfortable, right?
Yep.
And there's a first, second, and a third, right? It's not just one guy, it's not just two guys. We're 3 deep on each kid.
Yep.
And then there's a massive text chain, which we kind of found out in the beginning of that first day of the freestyle tournament. They must have turned like a blocker on or something.
Yeah.
When the tournament, man, did it get tough to get any signal through?
Holy shit, that was tough.
It was. Yeah,
I think that's what made Flo change her mind.
Board. I just had to watch the board.
Yeah, right. That's what I was doing. Just standing around watching the board the whole time. Like, God, and then that skipped. Like, holy shit! What is going? Jesus.
Yeah, would go on for like a second, and then go to the next one, and be like, "What the hell? I couldn't even read it."
Yeah.
So nobody missed. Nobody. Every kid had a coach. That's something that we're always very adamant about. Like, man, we don't want any kid to ever have to take the mat without a coach. That's something we don't really have happen. So.
Yep. So yeah. When obviously you had some great success with the kids that went out there, and a lot of people look at it differently. Like I've grown as far as knowing what winning and losing really means and how it matters, and it doesn't matter. It's all about the performance, and that's what I ask of Liam is just 110%. When you go compete, I don't know technical anymore. That's what your coaches are for. I just want 110%. That's it.
Right.
So we see almost all that in every kid that we had out there, which Liam got a little frustrated at the end. It happens.
Yeah.
Yeah. You get that block in your mind, but at the same point though, too, now that's a learning, that's something you got to take away,
It always is. There's always something to take.
What were some of the moments that you guys had like in the back where you guys are kind of relaxing, chilling out, and like someone throws like a spaghetti noodle at someone's face and then it starts a water fight? Any kind of fun stories that happened this year?
Well, at Fargo, we're so dang busy running on the floor, where we get that kind of that time is like, at like junior duels, like they had a big like slap fight with a burrito or a shell. They slapped each other's face back and forth. And it was like, it's the littlest stuff. And it's funny though, you come around the corner and like, we always hide the guys back in a corner there underneath the mezzanine so they can kind of hang. The bathrooms are there. Yep. There's some electrical they can charge your stuff. And they all kind of conglomerate back there. And you go back there at any given time and they're all snacking and they're in the huddle and you couldn't tell who won or lost because they're all just messing with each other. And but then it's different. You get down there in like the morning of the blood round and then they're all down there and it's like you could hear a pin drop, man. They're pretty serious, ready to rock and roll,
Yeah.
But it's cool to see how friendly the kids are with each other. You know what I mean? Like they're all making best friends. Like these are guys that, go to each other's weddings and they're gonna visit each other with their kids when they're 35. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I know that because I've made those bonds through these trips. You know what I mean? And that's why I'm friends with the guys at Wags and Ben and Max and Jason Kleinschmidt at Aviators. Scott Arneson at Northern Exposure. And we had coaches like Terry Steiner was a coach one year, and it was like we had some great staff, and it was like insane. John Messenbrink was a coach one year, so I got to know John as a coach. And
where did he wrestle in college?
Drake.
Oh, that's right. Okay, I couldn't remember, but I was like, oh, shit, this guy's got a background, man. Like
he won, but I mean, he was. John's intense. He's a fantastic coach in person and just a great human being.
Liam loves listening to him talk. He just there's something he says when he's talking. It's like I can just take the information and I was like, hey, awesome, man.
He's well.
Yeah,
he's very well. So
what other types of things does Crass have going on right now? Crass Train, you guys switching over to Folkstyle now?
I mean, we're trying to pump up opportunities, and my brother said to me, he kind of gives me shit, he's a good checker for me to check my shit. And he goes, hey, man, you got to quit having all them expensive camps because your members are going to run out of money. And I said, dude, the camps are more for the kids that aren't members.
Yeah.
It's for the guys that don't want to spend $2,000 a year to wrestle at a private club or, you know what I mean? $1,000 a year or whatever. And they want to spend $150 to go to a camp and have their kids stay overnight and eat 3 meals and do some,
that's all we have.
I'm trying is for the demographic that's like not club kids. Like I'm not trying to get all. I mean, I would love all my club kids to be here too, right?
Yeah, right.
But the reality, like, these are like for the guy that's like, I'm not a full year-round wrestler. I just am transitioning between my baseball and my football hasn't really started yet.
Yep.
Come hit a camp up, man. Get some mat time in. These guys are wrestling at the D1 level. So we got Gavin Drexler coming in the first weekend, the 5th. And then we got Grayson Clark coming in the 12th. Yep. And then that next Thursday, we got 3 Gopher guys coming in for the Gopher Tough Camp.
Boom.
Killings. Yeah, we're just hammering out 3 big camps. And then September 23rd, we're going to have Seth Gross up.
Nice.
For a 9 to noon camp. And then we have an event that afternoon at the facility, a wrestling event yet to be disclosed. But we got something coming. So, we're just trying to give, like I said earlier, it's about giving Wisconsin kids opportunities, and it's not just kids that are at the private club. Like you don't have to be a member here to get access to training here. Like this is why we have these extra camps, right?
Yep.
And maybe you get a kid to come in and think, maybe I'll join a member here, whatever. But that's not really what it's for. It's for the college kids to get an opportunity to do some coaching.
Yeah.
And help out a little bit. You know what I mean?
Well, and a lot of it's the guys that are from here, Grayson Clark and the guys from Minnesota, they are bringing stuff back. And I think that's the biggest thing that we've been doing in this state is bringing all those guys, D1 guys back, and you guys who wrestled at a high level too. Yeah. Bring them on, whatever. Yeah. Bring them on.
Sorry. I just had some guys walk in to wrestle some open mats. So I'm just giving them a high.
They can yell at shit if they wanna. But so
no.
What do you guys have planned? Are you guys, do you guys do a team? You guys still doing a team for the state? Like a dual team that you guys would take around in the off season?
Oh yeah, it's funny because I just sent out a thing today. Ohio Middle School Nationals. We got a tryout coming up. We're gonna do the tryout on September 30th.
Okay.
And we're gonna do a practice from 10 to noon at the AT up here at the Crass Train, and then we're gonna have a little lunch break, and then we're gonna have a 1 to 3 session. And we're working on building our team for the Ohio Middle School National Duels, which are in November.
It's nice to hear you guys are building for it. That's good.
Yeah. Well, we're trying to do I've never been a big fan of just calling guys together and having to meet at the airport and go to a tournament, right? I like the idea of having a camp, getting to know each other, and then I can help them a little better. That side, you know what I mean? I got a little bit of their skill set if I've got to work out with them a few times, right? And to be honest, for that one, I kind of partner with Law because he's got that contract, and we're just fortunate enough to be friends with them, and they're going to let our guys jump in on that team, and what we want to make it more competitive. You know what I mean? We want to make a more competitive team than we've had in the past. And we're doing the same thing for the Virginia Beach team that we take out, the K through 6 team. We're teaming up with Anthony D'Elia down there at Burgeoning Memorial Training Center. Bam.
Hell yeah.
Yeah. Bad dude, man. He ran in the circle when we were kids the whole way up with us. And he goes way back. You know, he's been to my farm as a little kid training for weeks on it. And he comes from a tough Italian boxing family. They're Mason trade. His father owns the company. They're freaking hammers. And the dude's just a great guy.
Yep.
And he runs a team, and he's got a little kid that's just a stud in that age group. And he's got a really good age group of kids in that demographic, you know, that K through 6.
Yeah.
That he's been Ben Cruiser's little boys in that. And Danny Azarian's got a little boy in that. So they're all coming back. You know, that Racine Park Wrestling Club team they're all coming back.
His kid was on this team right here. We won this strike zone because I couldn't find anybody that was a little bit older that size, and that kid was hammering other kids like nothing. Yeah.
He's a hammer.
He stood next to this trophy. He was as tall as he was. I was like, you were destroying guys.
Yeah. So, you know, and it's I think though, so Tom Clark might not agree to this, but he might. But so Tom's a super passionate guy, right?
He doesn't listen to shit.
He would lose his shit and get kicked out of dual meet tournaments, right? And so then they were like, well, we need to get somebody to coach the team that doesn't have a kid on the team, so they're not losing their shit. And I don't know how I got picked to coach that team, but all of a sudden I got picked to coach that team, and it was Grayson Clark and Braden Sonnentag.
Yep.
And here above that, it was Gavin Drexler and Blaine Brenner. So a couple of my guys were kind of on that team, but it was predominantly an all-star team that Tom had developed throughout the whole state. Yeah. Right. And so I took that team a few years in a row to McDonough Duels in Baltimore, and then Virginia Beach tournament, Holiday Duels. Yep. So 2 tournaments a year for 2-3 years in a row. And it was literally this last group of guys. It was twins. Coy Hopke would be at the tournament. He wasn't wrestling on our team, but he'd be on a different team.
Yeah.
So Riddle, Mulvaney,
that's a great team.
Yeah. Luke Dukes was on those teams. Gunnar Hoffman, Ian Smith was on those teams. Yep. So it was a good mix of our kids and a good mix of those kids.
Yeah, for sure.
That's how I landed the gig, and it was this guy might be crazier than Tom. You know, he's gonna get kicked out too. You know, out on the bench sometimes. You know, and I'm getting a lot better the older I get. But yeah,
it's hard. It's hard, man.
But dude, so it was really fun to spend time with these guys on their last trip. I got to go to junior duels with them, and I got to go to Fargo with them. So, yeah.
I think the group that is, you know, I'm graduating and moving up, there's a few of them that are still going to be here next year, but knowing the level that they're at. And then, like I said, with the coaches that we have now, you and the Askrens, and we got even out in Law, those guys, I mean, they're great at developing kids, you know, and that's the biggest thing that I hear from other states. We want to develop kids, and you guys have picked up the pace on that sense. Cause I only remember, you were talking about camps. I only remember camps. I don't remember clubs. We had mat rats. That was it, you know, but we didn't have the wrestling like we do now. So you had to find camps to do, like you said. It's just something that I'm trying to, get a leg up on. But now we've picked it up in, I've shown a lot of respect towards the fact that, like I said, you and Askren are working together, talking together more. all the other teams are starting to gel in it, because it didn't used to be that way. When Liam first started this, there was always just, and now everybody is starting to kind of come together. It's awesome. And it's great to see.
Yeah. This thing is like, dude, it's like, if we do our jobs right, like I don't need to take kids from anybody else. I'll take a kid off the basketball.
Yep. But even if they come,
I'll steal a kid from basketball if I need another kid. I'm stealing.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yep.
Like, there's basketball kids that walk in this gym all the time and wish they were tougher and look in the windows.
Well, like Liam goes and works out at Askren. What's that?
I can get one of them basketball kids any day. Just wave them in.
Come on.
Toughen them up.
Come on.
Yeah.
And Liam mixes it up. He runs with Robert Lee once in a while, and then he's at Askren and, things like that. And I think it's good to have that exposure to all the different coaching styles. So much praise to you guys for that. So, but you, are you running a practice tonight?
No, I just have guys in that can work out.
Oh, yeah. Oh, open mats. That's right. Open mat. Yeah. Yeah.
I'm in a wrestle. I'm going to be in here,
Yeah.
But then you can see me doing this because I'm looking past the camera because I'm like, hey, I can see them out there sitting on their asses. And I'm like, you ain't in here to sit on your ass. You're in here to wrestle. You can sit on your ass at home.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah. You're like, no.
Fuck yeah. So that
It's Friday night at 6:00, and these are all high school kids, and they're here to wrestle. So I can't be complaining. Yeah.
That's right. Wrestle, man.
That other shit high school kids are doing on Friday night.
Are you like a Schwab? Do you get out there and wrestle with these guys still?
Oh, yeah.
Nice.
Oh, yeah. I love it.
Nice.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm actually trying to get a little better shape. My son's coming up, and to be honest, Brink has really lit a fire under me in terms of like, I want to be that coach for my son when he's ready for me.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I want to be in good shape. I want to be able to pound him. I want to be able to smack him around and give it to him. I don't want him to be able to roll me,
Old Mirasola getting it done back there. So yeah. With him, how is that blend with you being such a club coach and having your son coming up? Do you coach him like just off to the side, but like when practice is going on, you let someone else handle him?
No, not really. I'm pretty hands-on with him at club. I mean, I coach him pretty hard.
Okay.
Well, like junior high season, he's got other coaches, It's kind of nice. We do like 6 grades included in junior high around here. So like even last year it was like, I coach him in practice, but I don't really coach him at matches often.
Okay.
You know what I mean? Like his coaching of his junior high coaching. I'm fortunate that his junior high coach is a friend of mine. I mean, I trust him. My twin brother's is coaching on the high school staff that he'll go to. So, I trust where he's going. I trust the guys that he's with,
Yeah.
And I don't know, to me, it's like you learn what you need to learn from wrestling in between the 4 walls of the practice room. That's how you make the man you want out of wrestling. Like the big man, the wins and the medals and stuff, and that's all cool. But like it happens inside these 4 walls right here. You know what I mean?
Yep.
So, and I just try to put a lot of pressure on him because, there could be pressure on a kid if his dad was fairly good at some point, and there might be a little pressure on him, but it's like, I just want him to enjoy it.
Yeah.
I want to be able to call him when he's 25 and be like, hey, I bought us all tickets to go to the NCAAs, and hopefully he's not like still wrestling in college at 25. I know they are nowadays. You want to have the COVID year, right? Like,
yeah, right. Oh shit.
How many guys are 25 years old? Been in college for 7 years. They're all still wrestling. It's crazy.
26, 27.
Yeah.
Like what?
Yeah. But what I mean, like he's an adult. I'd like to be able to call him, and there's kids I know that have such a toxic relationship with wrestling because of what their dads did to them. I just don't want that.
It's huge. It's one of those things. And I didn't have parents that were high, like they didn't play sports. I mean, if they did, they played through like middle school or grade school, and that was it. But knowing that my brother was that one that was up there, I had I still have an older brother, but I was trying to come up to him. Well, and then as I got to high school, it was good having him around as a partner to either practice with. Sometimes you didn't even want to see my face, which I can't argue with him, but it was, I became better, than he was because of the opportunities that he gave me as far as being a partner. And my dad would push us to a certain extent of just, you got to go to practice. But my brother was the one that was like, no, dude, you suck. You need to get better. Okay.
Well, I had the luxury. I had a twin brother, right? And then I had an older brother on both of us, right?
Yep. And
like, I'm really close with the Mirasolas, and part of it is kind of the twin thing. Like I get the twin thing, right? And it's like, I'm like, well, yeah, Jesus, Cole, you're only good because of Connor. Like, shut up, And it's like, I just tease with them like that, like when one of them's having a hard day, I always tell them like, yeah, well, your brother's because of you, like, you know, and,
yeah,
you know, and it's always I understand the demographic of like, hey man, like I remember going to tournaments and getting my ass kicked and then having my brother win and my parents looking at me like, well,
yeah,
I don't know, I can't like be sorrowful for you because I want him to be, you know, and it's like a tough spot for a parent, you know,
big time.
And John and Rob, great job handling that demographic, obviously, but and those boys are for each other, but like, man, the rivalry thing is like just like built for wrestling. You know what I mean? It's just built for wrestling.
So that's I want to touch on that just a little bit. Because I made a post, okay, and I posted about it because it wasn't anything I saw at Fargo. I've been watching a lot of wrestling lately, a lot. I watched Utah Middle School Conference Championships, dude. Okay, so I've been watching some wrestling. I watched, there was a match I saw where you could tell they were friends because when they shook hands, when they got on the mat, they shook hands like, hey, buddy, you know, like, let's do this. Yeah. And they do the fall down shit, right? Yeah. And let the other one pin them. Now, friends are friends. I get it. All right. But we're also in a sport where it's like, just wrestle. Just put it out there on the line, you know, like.
An example, the freaking Jacob Herman, Declan Cook.
Dude.
The wrestling to decide who for third and fourth and who's going to go for fifth and sixth, and they're best friends and training partners.
And they did,
you know, and he just got a little heavy, couldn't make weight again. So he bumped up and to wrestle the Herminator, you know, quite a battle. I love those guys.
Yeah, I know. So I haven't been able to watch the match, but I had someone tell me that it was kind of on that level. Like it wasn't wrestled very hard.
It was almost like it was like it was even, and then they fought hard for like the last minute, you know?
Yeah, that's what they said. It was like circling, just hand fighting or whatever, but...
They didn't give up if they had a plan or anything, but it seemed like there was definitely a plan. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I don't know.
It's just kind of a bummer, but at the same time, though, too, just the level of wrestling that was out there was just crazy.
They kind of had all their guys move away from each other last year, right? So that they could try to, you know, all a title, right? Yep. And, you know, and it's in the same vein of like being friends, right? So, I mean, if what they did with each other like that was silly, then what those guys did was silly, right? Because it's in that same vein.
You're right.
So to me, at some point, your college coach is going to make you guys wrestle each other, right? And like they're handing out tickets right now, and it's going to be Sinclair versus Mirasola. And that's what Flo wants to see, right? I mean, they don't want to see anything but that, right?
Yep. Oof.
And wants to see probably, right?
That's gonna
you know what I mean? Yeah, Kale's not going to care if Mirasola's buddies with Sinclair when Sinclair's wrestling from Cornell and they're
gotta go
wherever the hell you know what I mean?
Yep.
Where he's going to happen, man.
Yep.
So I mean, but I get it. You know, they're friends, and if they're comfortable with it, that's fine. You know, I had a twin brother, so I had to pull that a couple times. There were a couple times where we pulled that where my mom and dad were like, "You guys aren't wrestling each other," because we wrestled one time in kindergarten and he beat me and I cried and. We were like kind of not friends for a little while because of it, I think, you know. And my parents were like, we're not going to put them in that situation again, you know.
Yeah.
Unless there was a situation where somebody moved forward in the bracket, both those medals were coming home anyway to the same house in the same training room. So what does it matter who could? We're both going to get thrown in the fucking closet with the rest of the shit, and we're going to practice tomorrow.
Yeah, right.
We're like, fight tomorrow, not the fight you had yesterday.
Yeah.
So. There's all kinds of ways to look at it, you know, and everybody's entitled to their own opinion. And I think, again, you revert back to what's going to make the athlete more comfortable, where the athlete can produce at the next best thing. What's next, right?
Yep, agreed. So. Totally. Well, man, you got 37 minutes under your belt. If there's some stuff you want to touch on, I know you got those camps coming up, and then you're doing some tryouts for. What's the team name for that travel team that you're doing?
The one we're going to take to, we call the one that we take to Virginia Beach is just a crash train team, but I'm probably going to rebrand it as something to include Bam's, team name in there.
Yeah.
Like a crash or something. And then lacrosse area wrestling.
Lacrosse. Nice.
Yes.
Love it.
Yeah.
I love it. That's awesome.
We're all kind of in the same area. But dude, those guys watch for those guys because they got some hammers coming up too.
Always.
And our days of dominating Fargo are just getting started. I think these boys have done a really good job of paving the road and setting the bar high.
I agree.
And I keep doing what we're doing. I think we're gonna see more years like this.
I agree.
And I think, guys like Liam, it's like, remind him, man, like, the Twins didn't place their freshman year, but they also 100, right? They were at like, it's a little different up there. You wrestle with the big boys. A lot of them guys are, if you're 160 pound, cadets, a lot of them guys are fully through puberty already. Well, you know what I mean? And you're kind of not.
And I know, that Minnesota kid, he probably was used to wrestling high school matches since 7th grade. And Liam was gassed. We talk about it all the time. It's just advantages to having certain circumstances to wherever you are and whatever you have.
100%.
So
100%.
Not
the weight cutting, like the biggest thing about Fargo is the weight cutting too. I mean, they made it such a difficult year this year. The way they did it was usually you weigh in the day before, then they wrestle, then they make weight the next day. Then if they win and they make it to the weigh-in medal day. So instead it was like they didn't know if they made a medal till the 3rd day because the blood run was that morning. And then everybody in the Bloods had to make weight. I would like somebody to go back through and look at how many dudes missed weight. I bet a lot of dudes missed weight in the Bloods.
Good point.
Like 3 days removed from that first weigh-in.
Yeah.
Right? And it's like, if you could just jam those first 2 weigh-ins back to back, that's the way I'd like it as a wrestler.
Yeah. Well, you keep it level.
And then you have kids, you have kids that are like, hey, so I was like 0.8 over and now I'm like 1.6 pounds and I didn't eat anything. I didn't have anything. And you're like, bro, I've done this before. I'm like, I've drank like 3 pounds of water in the middle of the night at Fargo one year as a cadet, woke up in the morning 4 pounds over, like, I didn't do anything. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I've been there and just like the management thing and just like, hey, bro, like when you start the fire, I'm the guy going to come dig you out of the fire. So don't lie to me. Like, you know what I mean? Like, and it's kind of like I take the guys that are like, need the extra help, right? I take them to work, take them to the gym late. You know what I mean? That's kind of like my thing is like getting the guys to be. And so that's where I get to spend a little more time with some of those, like Declan's usually cutting a little weight and Jake using, and so then I got to hang with those guys a little extra than some other guys, so I get to know them better than the other. And just like you said, you're just, not that I like them any better than the other kids around, but I've just by circumstance of the environment, I've spent a little more time with them, so I get to know them a little better. But those kids are both savages. They're going to be tough.
Yeah. Oh yeah, for sure.
The next be good.
Yeah. Yep. And so like, there's never, I can't say that there's ever a kid, especially now at this level, that I've ever doubted any of their abilities. I mean, these kids have been through a lot of them have been through the ringer, and
right.
So it's definitely, it was nice being able to see, that's kind of, I was wondering about the mix of like coaching. It was nice to be able to see some of you guys with kids that you normally aren't around, like Liam.
Oh, that's my favorite part. I know all my guys.
Right.
I like getting new kids. I like to talk to Liam. I like to hang with the twins. I like visiting with like Charlie Millard's a neat kid,
Yep.
Laney is a kid that I've always enjoyed.
Man.
Up here as a little guy.
Yep.
Yeah. Really enjoyed Joel and his wife and the whole family's always around and willing to, hey, we're going to grab some lunch. Do you want us to get you something? Like, just like, shirt off their back type of people, all them parents. Yeah. Just like, So, but like, we got to keep recruiting those people's kids into wrestling. People like that, you are who you're surrounded, right? So it's like, let's get more people like that involved in wrestling.
Couldn't agree more, man. Couldn't agree more. Well, I am going to let you go, dude. I appreciate your time.
Fargo. We'll be back next year, ready to rock.
Yes.
Again.
Hey,
come hit up Crash Train for some camps the first 3 weeks in August. Members, but non-members, this is for you. This is for you that don't have a year-long membership somewhere and you need to hit a camp up before you get headed back to school. We got your end of the summer options covered here. August 5th, August 12th, August 17th. Come hit us up, crashtrain.club.
If you can't find it, go on social media. You'll find him on Instagram. I think he's on Facebook. I mean, they got everything out there. So scroll through and find Crass and figure it out. So much appreciated, dude. I'm going to talk. I want to talk to you for just a second once we're done here, but I'm going to roll some sweet music because that's what I do. And then we're going to tell people adios. So see you later.
Peace.
All of our episodes are brought to you by Appleton Tattoo, located at 117 South Appleton Street in Appleton, Wisconsin, right off the main drag on College Avenue. You can't miss them. I've had some work done. I have a Celtic cross that covers my back that was done by Jason. We're not done yet. Jason Winans and crew, the artists that he have there, those guys are the best in the Fox Valley. They are definitely one to go to if it's something that you've just been kind of throwing around. They'll make you feel comfortable. It's a very clean environment, very nice crew, and very willing to get done whatever you need done when you need it done. You can message them on Facebook. I know they're on Facebook. You can give them a call at 920-604-8289 and get in touch with Jason Winans and crew at Appleton Tattoo, located again in Appleton, Wisconsin at 117 South Appleton Street, right in Appleton. Very flexible hours, great crew, clean environment again. I would not send you anywhere else except for these guys. Appleton Tattoo.